Hello, my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. And it's really weird to not talk to a camera, even though I don't put up the videos anyway. We did decide to just not do any of the in-betweens in video form. And there's something about, this is just for those of you who are thinking of podcasting, having the phone recording all of this in video, it makes it more like you're there, audience. It makes it more like you're there.
That was weird, Peg.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, but I do agree
you know what
with
I mean?
you.
Yeah.
Where it is like having that point of focus of like, this is the third person in the room. Mm-hmm. It reminds me to keep including them in the conversation and not directing everything at you.
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense.
It just reminds me of that other presence more.
Because they look so delightful, and I can't wait. And as in can't wait, I mean, I've already had a couple of sips. Let's go ahead and introduce the drink of the week. And
this one does fit the setting of the chapter.
It does fit the setting. There's a reason that we have this. They are a beautiful, beautiful strawberry red, and that is because they are strawberry margaritas, frozen, nummy.
Nummy.
Yeah, those are delicious. I like to rim them with salt. Some people prefer sugar. A nice mixture of salt and sugar can sometimes be fun. But those of you playing the home game, if you're interested in this, it's literally just a half a cup of strawberries, a cup of ice, an ounce of orange liqueur, an ounce and a half of tequila, and an ounce of lime juice. And that's it. You blend it. It's really good. It's really good. It was really, really good when we picked those fresh strawberries like an hour away. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So, why are we here? What are we doing today?
You're looking at me like there's something special I should know about.
This is special. This is the end of Laurie's story, part 1.
This is the end of Laurie's story, part 1, and other words for fun. No, the way you had your eyes so intense, I was like, fuck, I don't know. I have a brain injury. It could be anything.
That's fair.
We could be moving to another country and it just blipped out of my brain.
We'll see. There's always time. There's always time. The nice thing is, even if we were moving out of the country, all the recording equipment could come with us. It'd be great.
We're not leaving. We're not leaving. The cats. It's the cats.
What? They'll be fine on their own. I'm kidding. That's a joke. How did Megan and Chris get divorced?
Divorce. That's it. You're out. No, I would never.
I know you would never. So I'm really excited about this particular chapter. Well, this particular installment of Laurie's story.
I mean, they kind of are chapters.
They kind of are chapters, but because this is actually about the length of an Ella chapter. So I'm excited.
I wanted it to be...
I think it's more meaty. I'm excited about it.
I wanted it to be shorter. And then I was going to split it in 2. And then I couldn't find a good place to split it in 2.
There's not a good place to split it in 2.
So it just kind of is.
Yeah.
And I was pretty brutal with the cuts from this chapter. Like,
really?
I went a little slash and burn on it.
Okay.
So I'm impressed at how long it still is, considering how much I hacked out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. The idea, did you want to talk about the idea for next week after? Yeah.
Let's do that after. So for right now, why don't you give us a previously on?
Previously on, and other words for fun. After a really bad day at work, Laurie brings a wounded hekatean back to her apartment. Hekatean. Leave me alone, I'm doing a voice. She brings the wounded hekatean back to her apartment to try and help her heal, along with Creepy J. No, she's not helping Creepy J heal. Creepy J is trying to be not completely useless. But, alas, the hekatean...
You sound like me on a voicemail.
But alas, the hekatean is not healing well, so Laurie decides the best idea is to duct tape her gut back together and go call on her quasi-dead current boy toy, Nick.
Quasi-dead?
There's some parts of him that are still alive.
Oh my my God.
Well, if it has a pulse, is it still living?
You're talking about that dark magic. I'm not going to say it again. It was funny once.
Yeah, but I think we can't make that a thing.
So I don't think that you mentioned that. Wait, did you say that they go into this club, the 13th Door?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So they go into
they're like walking
Nick's
into
lair,
it, right? Yeah.
And then the last chapter ends with him opening a door to the 13th door.
Mm-hmm. Does he open the 13th door?
No.
Is his lair the 13th door?
No.
Okay.
The 13th door goes with the regular entrance that we get to at the end of the chapter.
Okay. Did you have anything that you wanted to add before we get into it? Or did you just want to drink your margarita?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I have to get ready for my song.
Oh, you do have to get ready for your song.
Okay.
Wait, did you not show up prepared for your song?
Well, I just had salt on my tongue.
That's okay. That can be the name of the song. Salt on My Tongue.
Okay.
All right. Great. So this is Megan O'Russell with the hit song Salt on My Tongue.
Oh, wait. You have to give the title of the chapter first.
So I now proudly present to you the epic finale of Laurie's Story Part 1 and Other Words for Fun. Chapter 5, Wishful Thinker with the Worst Intentions. Okay, we're going to lower that. No, pull it down. Pull it down. Pull it down.
That was a whammy bar.
I heard it. Thank you.
You can continue.
Hell. A fetishized, commercially crafted, liquor-fueled hell. The scent of fresh human blood sparked panic that zinged through my nerves, snapping my mind out of lustland, letting me drag myself back to something close to reason right after the door to Nick's lair closed behind us, killing my chance of a quick retreat. It wasn't just one bleeding human, either. A mix of blood that stank of different ages, diets, and states of decay filled the air. And why the fuck do I know enough about humans to be certain one of the bleeders had a rancid painkiller addiction, yet know so fucking little about Arabites? I mean, yes, I spent my life with blending into the human world as the ultimate goal. The pinnacle of safety, just play human. We're taught to obsess over not letting the weak little humans find out about us, but we're not prepared for the actual monsters that hide in the shadows. A gut-twisting, gurgling wail came from a caged woman, but not all of her was caged, just her torso, keeping her dangling face down, the wound in her stomach positioned over a funnel attached to a heated samovar that refilled the refreshments like her blood was fucking hot cocoa. The bartenders, or kitchen staff maybe, had left the woman's limbs free, for the fun of watching her flail, I guess, but she'd gone far past having the strength to put up an entertaining fight. She just drooped, gurgling and dying, the demons and vampires drinking from the samovar, watching with vague interest while attempting shouted conversation over the thumping music that rattled all the way into my chest, making the panic even worse. I shouldn't be here. I should not fucking be here. 5 humans in person-sized cages, like in a fucking pirate movie, hung from the ceiling. The 2 cages flanking the 13th Door mural even had spikes. Skulls dotted the walls in odd patches, like someone kept trying to skull the whole room but got bored and wandered off, only to come back and start again in another place. I liked that narrative a fuck of a lot better than them just waiting until they had a decent-sized pile of skulls lying around, then popping them on the walls like kids decorating with summer camp pictures. I should not fucking be here. A fury, an actual fucking fury, held a torch under one of the human's feet, adding the reek of burning flesh to the air. Nick didn't so much as glance up at the roasting man's shrieking pleas for mercy. He just walked right past, his hand on my back as he casually guided me through the caged humans, around the seething horde of dancers, past the bar where humans in shock collars snatched drinks out of the way before the 5 people fucking on the bar counter could... Bower?
Bower counter?
Bower counter.
A bower
counter. Got a bower counter.
Oh, well, fucking on a bower, there are worse places.
Yeah, a rose-trellised bower.
Oh, no,
fucking in the
not
moonlight.
rose trellis. No. Because rose thorns.
Yeah, that's true.
As someone who has
Look,
gotten...
if you were thorny enough, you'll make it happen, okay?
Okay. As someone who has scars on their ass from a rose bush... No, that would be awful.
You need to immediately expound upon this because considering the context of the chapter, why were there thorns on your ass?
No. When I was little, my house, the way that the interior hall sort of shaped, you could run a loop through the house. And when I was little, like 4 or 5, I would run loops through the house, and we had these big beanbag chairs, and I would plop my little booty in them and like throw myself back onto them. I had a stack of 3. But me, being a small child, didn't check one day to make sure as I was running around that my beanbags were there. And because of the weather, my mother had bought new rose bushes and brought them into the living room to keep them safe from a storm. And so I ran and threw myself backwards into fucking rose bushes in my own damn living room, because that's how I roll.
I don't know if that's better or if me stupidly sticking my hands out in front of myself when I was like 8 to stop myself from skating forward and then turning my head and closing my eyes. I thought this was a good idea at that time, and I ran right into a cactus.
In Tennessee.
But
it's the in Tennessee that makes it.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if you were in like Phoenix.
Fucking Egypt, Tennessee. Yeah.
If you were in Arizona, you'd be like, well, what did you fucking expect, dumbass?
Yeah.
But
right.
In Jackson, Tennessee, it's like, what? How the fuck did you manage that?
Yeah, it was weird.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, going back. This all came out of, what was it that I said? The Bower counter. The Bower counter. Nick didn't so much as glance up at the roasting man's shrieking pleas for mercy. He just walked right past, his hand on my back as he casually guided me through the caged humans, around the seething horde of dancers, past the bar where humans in shock collars snatched drinks out of the way before the 5 people fucking on the bar counter could shatter them, and to the far side of the club where quiet came too quickly to be natural. Gratitude for the muting of the screams tempered my annoyance at being herded into some sort of magic without warning. Nick slowed near a cluster of 3 booths. A solo Telsheen, reading a book and nursing what looked like a martini with olives. An Array laughing with a witch whose rune tattoos started on his fingers, winding up into his sleeves, accenting the chunky witch's blood gem set in his ring. A Fury, a second one, flirting with 2 sets of red-haired human twins. None of the 4 humans seemed bothered by their own kind being tortured and killed right across the room, but I don't know if that makes them psychopaths, or if they were pretending not to care so the Fury didn't toss them into a cage, or if they were bewitched and had no idea where they were, or that people were actually dying. Nick stopped in front of the table with the Array and Witch. He paused for a moment, giving them both a chance to survey us, not speaking until the Array had finished glaring at me. "Are you the best I'll be able to find tonight?" Nick pursed his lips at the Witch. The Witch just smiled. "Always nice to see you, Nick." A new human scream burrowed through whatever magic allowed Nick and Dante, we're going to call the Witch Dante, to speak at a normal volume as though exchanging pleasantries in a coffee shop rather than hell. "You'll have to keep dreaming of my acquiescence, I'm afraid," Nick said. A hint of Dante's smile faded. "I'm merely escorting Laurie on her quest to save a hekatean's life." Laid things out a bit quicker than I would have, but since I don't have Nick's ability to create my own portals, couldn't see a normal fucking exit, and didn't know where the fuck I'd be if I went feral and clawed my way to the surface, I mean, as far as I understand, I'd have to be in Manhattan, but still, I couldn't get pissy about Nick's tactics. "What does a werewolf have to do with a hekatean?" Dante waved the Array away, the Etherean dictating the Arabite's actions. I glanced to Nick, checking for any signs of imminent rage. A glimmer of, "so proud of the big brave witch," lit his eyes with enough, "wouldn't it be fun to kill you," to keep Nick looking like Nick. "So you are still interested in keeping Hecateans alive?" Nick said. "Aren't we all in the business of protecting precious life?" Dante said. The human screams pretty much proved Dante was fucking wrong, but I guess the bullshit was good enough for Nick since he gestured me toward the booth. I sat, feeling like a 5-year-old as I scooted over to make room for him. "Your name?" Dante asked, holding my gaze, seemingly unafraid of having a werewolf within arm's reach. "Is he insane, or are you fucked?" A wisp of caring for my own potential doom stirred in my thoughts, vanishing as Dante grinned. "I promise I don't bite," Dante said. "Do you?" I returned his fucking grin. "Only when provoked." Laurie came to me with a most interesting problem. Nick wrapped his arm around my shoulder, relaxation and possession in one simple movement. Tell our friend how far you've gone to help your Hecatean stranger. 2 knots, one in my stomach, one in my throat, twisted into being as I opened my mouth to speak. Shit. I couldn't get her to stop bleeding, so I duct taped her closed. I managed a moderately calm tone. Who? Dante laced his fingers together on the table, leaning toward me, searching my eyes in a too intense way. No fucking clue. I turned to face Nick, leaving my back to Dante in a fully intentional insult. I never considered how convenient it is that so many humans and Etherians keep driver's licenses in their pockets. Really? Nick leaned closer to me, overacted intrigue in his eyes. Why ever so? Well, I gave a better acted sigh. It's been almost 24 hours, and the poor girl just keeps bleeding. She hasn't woken up, and she didn't have any ID on her, so I don't know who might be worried about her or looking for her. Hell, I won't even know who to give the corpse to when she dies, assuming my duct taping her entrails back in. Pain. Oh, well, not pain. That sounds more bothersome than it was. A line of visceral discomfort yanked across the front of my throat, jerking me back, pulling me off balance. I swung my elbow, catching Dante in the ribs, but he didn't let go of whatever the fuck he was choking me with, so all I managed was to add to the pressure on my own damn throat. But I shouldn't have bothered trying to stop Dante anyway, since a heartbeat later, Nick was standing on the table, holding Dante in the air by his neck. Do not, Nick laid into the diction, touch her. So hot, so hot. Yes, werewolves can protect themselves, and yes, it would have only taken me like 2 more seconds to break free on my own, but Nick's muscles didn't even twitch as he dangled the 6'2" well-built witch in the air. Just so fucking hot. You will respect her, Nick said, or I will apologize to the Hecateans for killing their pet witch. Give! Dante choked on the word. He closed his eyes, and for an awkward moment, I thought he'd died. But he must have been doing some witchy thing, because when he opened his eyes, his voice came out clear like there wasn't a specter squeezing his throat. Give the Hecatean to me. Nick shook Dante like a pissed-off toddler with a rag doll. No. My voice came out with an embarrassing amount of rasp. I swallowed hard and tried for a less recently choked tone. I'm not giving her to anyone. I'm asking for first aid advice. First aid? Nick chuckled. She shouldn't, Dante dragged in a breath, still be bleeding. No shit, I said. Nick furrowed his brow and frowned. Actually, the pet witch might not know how to help a Hecatean heal from so much as an iron splinter. Nick gave Dante another shake. Do Hecateans trust their pets with such precious knowledge? In one impressively quick motion, Dante flicked a blade out of his sleeve and stabbed it right into Nick's gut. Nick! I grabbed Dante's ankles, yanking him out of Nick's grip, tossing Dante to the floor as I jumped up onto the table to look at Nick's lack of wound. Because regular metal blades don't do anything to specters, which I know. Thankfully, I realized Nick was fucking fine before doing too much humiliating pawing at the wound in panic, terrified the dead man would die. Anger took panic's place, and Dante, lying on the floor, blood seeping from a gash on the back of his head, made venting so very convenient. I jumped off the table, landing with one knee digging into the center of Dante's chest and my hands around his throat. What can I do to help a hurt Hecatean? I squeezed just hard enough to make his eyes widen. Give her to me, Dante grunted. Not gonna happen. Why? Nick asked, still standing on the table, examining the new hole in his shirt. I shifted my hold on Dante, grabbing him and flipping him onto his stomach, doing enough damage for him to give a little yelp as I pinned his arms behind him so I could look up at Nick more comfortably. Laurie, the gorgeous ass prompted. I need to talk to the wounded girl. I opened with the most basic version of the truth. She's not going anywhere until after she and I have had our chat, which can't happen until after she wakes up. If it's been a day and she hasn't healed, chances of you getting to talk to her are nil, Dante said, unless you give her to me. I pinched Dante's arms just a little closer together. There's nothing a werewolf or a witch can do for a Hecatean in that bad a shape. Dante spoke through clenched teeth, the anger in his voice impressively growl-like for a witch. She needs to be brought to a Hecatean coven. Shit. Pity. Nick stepped off the table, landing beside me. Though it makes sense. Shit. Give her to me, Dante said. I'll get her to a coven. She's not going anywhere. I lifted Dante's arms, stopping shy of popping his shoulders from their sockets. She'll die! Then I suppose she dies. Nick swept his gaze over the crowd behind me. I glanced that way, trying to spot what he was looking for. Would you like a drink while we're here, Laurie? I promise they'll have something fit for a wolf. I couldn't tell if he was playing cool to piss off Dante, which worked based on Dante almost managing to toss me off him, or if Nick had just gotten bored with the dying Hekatean and moved on. When her coven finds out you let her die, Dante began. How would they do that? Nick planted his foot on the side of Dante's face. Hekateans aren't particularly attached to their pets, and I needn't even carry your corpse out of the bar. The owner here is an old friend. I'm sure she'd be happy to add fillet of witch to the brunch specials. Shit. I'm not a pet. Dante's words lacked diction under the weight of Nick's foot. But being brunch you don't protest? Nick said. If you harm me, the covens will care. By care, I assume you mean will be overwhelmed with gratitude to be rid of you. If you're not a pet, you're a pretender. Pretenders are exhausting. There's a difference between a pretender and a scholar, though I suppose the difference may only matter to the living. Fuck. My asshole fucking clenched as I slowly slid my gaze up to Nick. No. Points of fire, like flames on match tips, lit his eyes, the flickering red and orange siphoning away the hints of color that usually let his skin pass for close enough to human, leaving him a cadaverous, gray-tinged white. General rule of polite fucking society? Don't remind the dead they're fucking dead! Fuck! I'm going to let you all in on what just happened. We are about 12 hours from when we stopped recording the last bit because it was 9:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
No, it was earlier. It was like 9.
Okay, all right. So it was around 9 p.m. And the people upstairs decided to start renovating. I was like, what is happening? We wait this late because there are kids that play in our hallways all the time. So we're like, okay, let's just wait. We'll, wait them out and then we'll record. We're fine. We can be night owls. No, not with the renovations. It was loud. So we're like, well, this isn't a wrench we were expecting. So here we are now with coffee instead of strawberry margaritas.
Good morning. Well, the funny thing is that like on a day-to-day basis, the only sound we can hear from any neighbor is in the hall with the kids.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, we don't hear them.
No, we don't.
Which is one of the things that I love about the place is that unless it's like the kids with the ball in the hall or a big storm coming through or something like that.
Right, yeah.
We're pretty good on sound, but damn, it was, I think it was them scraping something off the concrete floor under the carpeting upstairs. I think they were like scraping concrete.
Yeah,
it possible. Kind of also sounded like they had a dryer full of sneakers.
It did, yeah.
But that's not where the dryer hookup would be.
No, it's
so
not.
It couldn't be that.
Yeah, I that was my first thought, was that it was like some kind of something being dried, but no. It was incredibly distracting, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to filter this noise out, so we're just going to not for the rest of the night.
Here we are.
Here we are. And
with coffee.
With coffee. So cheers to coffee. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So since you make me sing silly songs on the podcast, I want you, we're going to pretend that it's morning.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you my coffee bag.
Okay, we're doing this.
And you have to sing me. So every morning, depending on the coffee mug, and the morning and the vibe of the morning, I get a different song when Chris brings me my first coffee of the day. Now, today it's a little Yoda mug. He has like...
a what mug?
A baby Yoda mug.
It's Grogu is his name.
A tiny Yoda mug.
Oh.
And it has like little suns on it. Okay.
His name is Grogu. Gonna catch that butterfly. Who knows what he'll do when he gets it? Probably eat it, but it's Grogu. So it's still real cute. Okay, here you go.
I love you.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that happens. So now that
you do it.
Now that you have all finished vomiting. Well, actually, I'll wait a second. You can go ahead. Keep going.
Because you're so cute.
Yeah, why don't you just pause this and then come back once you're done and then like have rinsed out your mouth.
And you're like, ew, that's too gross. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to jump back a couple of lines because I like this. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a good starting place.
General rule of polite fucking society. Don't remind the dead they're fucking dead. Fuck! Sorry, that's just fun. Blood pooled on Dante's face as Nick switched to grinding his heel Blood pooled on Dante's face as Nick switched to grinding his heel into Dante's cheek. Any decision on a drink, Laurie? Nick said. I should drop this off in the kitchen. This, meaning Dante, the dumbass fucking witch. The dumbass fucking witch I needed alive if I wanted any chance of saving the hekatean I'd been a dumbass for ever fucking taking out of sticks. I don't want the girl to die, but I can't give her to you, I said, ignoring Dante's blood and Nick's macabre pallor and the general gonna kill you vibe radiating between the two men, which a weird part of me kind of liked. But unpacking and or indulging the want to sit back with a drink while they showed off their six-packs, displaying their dominance by beating the shit out of each other, is way too time-consuming for this particular moment, so moving on. Dante started to say something, but Nick cut him off with an extra grind of his heel. Laurie, love, why can't you give him the taped together girl? Because shit, well, you kind of fucking cornered your own damn self. Fuck. She may be a murderer, and if she is, I can't let her go skipping off into the wild to kill more innocent people. Because I will not let Creepy J have a stronger fucking moral compass than me. Huh. The fire in Nick's eyes faded, spilling color back into his face as anger became intrigue. What an odd, wounded stray to bring home. There's also a slight chance she was attacked and barely managed to survive, hence me needing to talk to her before I can let her go. I shrugged, giving Dante's arms an extra little raise with the movement. Dante swallowed a grunt. Becoming your own source of justice? Nick took his heel off Dante's face, casually leaning back to sit on the edge of the table. Have you chosen your methods of interrogation? Nope. I have options ready, I said, but I'm happy to take advice. You won't need it. Dante spat blood on the floor. Nick's heel had left a mushy-edged gash on his cheek and, I guess, cuts in his mouth. For a moment, I hoped Dante was decent at self-healing spells, or charms, however it's done. Then he said, you won't get to question her because she won't wake up without help from a coven. And I stopped caring about his fucking face. You figure out a way for me to help her without handing her over, or she dies, I said. Your choice, and its consequences fall on your fucking conscience. Dante didn't say anything. Shit. Don't waver, Laurie. Can we go somewhere else for a drink? I let go of Dante and stood, turning my attention to Nick, only keeping enough awareness on Dante to make sure he didn't pull another knife. You can mock me for being a prissy little Etherean, but the humans in cages are a bit much for me. Nick limited his mocking to a shake of his head and a smile, which is why I haven't brought you here before. He held out his hand. I slid my fingers through his, fighting to maintain a coy grin as half my brain kept begging the witch to offer some new fucking option for saving the girl, while the other half had already given her up as dead and moved on to all the delicious ways I could thank Nick for bringing me on this useless errand. We stepped over Dante, heading back the way we'd come. A hand snatched my ankle. Reason said it was Dante stopping us, as I'd hoped, but that didn't keep me from spinning around and punting him in the ribs hard enough for him to crash back into the single leg beneath the booth's table. Oops. Nick chortled, his gentlemanly version of pointing and laughing as Dante crawled back out from under the table. Okay, so the blood dripping from his face hit borderline pathetic, but the crawling was pretty fucking funny. If I, Dante spat more blood on the floor, take you to a conclave, maybe they'll be able to offer you some way to help her without giving her to them. Where's the conclave? I asked, a dumbass flicker of hope fluttering through my chest. Jersey, Dante said. Hope vanished. Absolutely not, Nick said. What about the Manhattan hekateans? I dragged my hands through my hair. It was still damp. How had I gone from humans on sidewalks to humans in cages and my hair still hadn't dried? All 3 Manhattan covens moved their elders off the island. Dante pushed himself to his feet, managing to stand impressively straight for someone who probably had broken ribs. The kind of information you want would have to come from a conclave. A coven can't hold a conclave without an elder, so Jersey is your option. When did the elders leave the island? Nick asked in a politely interested tone, like he hadn't just been grinding the witch's face off with his heel. 2 weeks ago, Dante said. That's been kept quiet. Nick frowned. Hecateans prefer privacy, and the location of their elders isn't information most people need, Dante said. Why did they leave? I asked. And why go to New Jersey? Sorry, I infused that with too much. There's this joke that's like, hey, why does living in New York City suck so much? Because the light at the end of the tunnel is Jersey. The thing is,
there are some parts of New Jersey that are beautiful.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I actually really like Jersey. Like, I don't understand the hate that it gets. I think it's just kind of like a kind rivalry between
Well, I think
states.
It's also because, like, if you look at it from a lot of the entry points, you're not hitting a pretty part of the state.
Well, no, but also Manhattan's not that pretty a lot of times. Like, it's really not. There are beautiful parts of Manhattan, but most of it is just kind of, gross, to be completely honest, having lived there. Well, in the Bronx, but still spent a lot of time in Manhattan. Okay. And why go to New Jersey?
Honestly, Bronx kind of smells better than Manhattan.
I liked the Bronx. I don't know why it gets so much hate.
The air smells a lot.
I know. And we lived 20 minutes from the zoo, so, that's saying something. Animals cleaner than people.
None of the zoo animals ever escaped. Wow, we are chatty in the morning. It's a good thing we record at night. But when we were living up by the zoo, I always kind of hoped, like, a monkey would escape, and I'd, like, see it on the way, and then I'd have to, like, run through this streets with 911 on the line, like following the monkey, helping the monkey get home, and my dream never came true.
You are weird. Okay. Why did they leave? I asked. And why go to New Jersey? That's a little bit better. Mm-hmm. 2 of the elders are in Brooklyn, Dante said. The elder in Jersey has a better history with Etherians. Answer the first part of the question. My gut tightened, instinct screaming I wasn't going to fucking like his answer. Why did they leave? Dante took a breath, frowned, and winced from frowning. A young hekatean from the Impuza coven had her sights on the same meal as a new vampire from the Reliquary clan. Cement-heavy dread started filling my body from the toes up. The Impuza demanded the vampire honor her bloodline and give her the human in question. The vampire found her claim of superior status insulting, killed the human, and tossed the body into the river out of spite. Nick gave a low whistle. His version of my, oh shit, this story is not going to fucking end well, panic that sped the cement trapping me in place because fuck! The Impuza and vampire fought. Dante frowned, wincing from the movement again. Both died of their wounds. Oh, shitty McShitshits. Poor sweet vampires do like to play Arabite, don't they? Nick said. Dante tightened his jaw. He winced from that, too. An unfortunate incident, Nick said, but that hardly seems enough to remove elders from the island. The Impuza was an elder's only great-granddaughter, Dante said. Shit. And the vampire's sire is the current leader of the Reliquary clan. Fuck. That does change things. Nick furrowed his brow with concern. Actual fucking concern. The Impuza want their version of justice, Dante said. And I'd bet the Reliquary clan want the same. Everything's been kept quiet. Neither side has attacked yet. Are you fucking sure? But all the Hecatean elders have been moved across the water. Well, Nick sighed. This appears to be a case of truly unfortunate timing. Yes, it's unfortunate timing. If someone else had grabbed those stupid drinks for the fucking murder room... A conclave is necessary to save the girl. No conclave can be called in Manhattan. An interesting conundrum for you to solve. Nick patted Dante's shoulder. I suggest you get to work. We'll be at the Hollow if you find sudden inspiration. Just come with me to Jersey, Dante said. Oh, fuck. Nick really very fucking much does not like being reminded of the geographical limitations of his tether chain of relics. Fire flared in his eyes again as the color left his face. Dante is going to die. Dante is going to die. Dante seemed to agree. He backed away, his thighs pressing against the table I'd kicked him under. I'll go to Jersey. I successfully yanked Nick's attention to me, but that meant Nick's blazing fucking attention was now on me. Fuck. Short fuse meets supernatural temper. Fuck. The world froze for a moment as I made 2 revelations. First, Nick is my fucking father. I ran away from home and hopped
is just like my fucking father. Sorry. I don't normally interrupt if you just miss a word or two, funny, but that one's a big one.
Okay, all right. So actually, this is a really fun editor moment. So I would argue that it still stands as a metaphor, even if you take out the just like.
It stands as a metaphor, but like that's still like, wait, is Nick her father? Has she been fucking her father? Like, we're in the world of paranormal.
Oh my God.
It is not out of reach that there could be.
How is this more unhinged over coffee than it is over adult beverages? Explain this to me.
I don't know, but it is.
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
so I don't think we need to snap this out. But,
no.
But I think maybe you should repeat the line.
Are you sure? Is she really fucking?
We are not going Game of Thrones. There is no incest.
Oh my God.
Incest is not my thing. It's not going to show up in my books, man. It just, I grew up in a small town. I don't need to write that shit.
I kid you not. And in case we haven't said this, or maybe we have said this on the podcast before, but we haven't done this in a while. But
I do, depending on how good their sense of humor is.
Will you pitch, do the pitch for the way that we do it for some people, for Anchor?
Anchor and Crown is Throne of Glass meets Game of Thrones, but without the incest. Because it's true. Like, it's not my thing as a writer. Like, I'm like, oh, nope, that's not my topic. I'm not going there.
No, right. Yeah. Well, jeez Louise. Okay. First, Nick is just like my fucking father. Is that better?
Much better.
I ran away from home and hopped right on top of a massive daddy issue. I love that imagery, by the way, because she probably did literally hop right on top of him. So it's like literally hopped right on top of... No, okay, anyway. Second, I have a prolific amount of... I
kind of want it to be hopped right on top of Pop, but that was like too much.
Don't hop on Pop. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
can you scroll back up a little? Because they're not going to get the whole joke if you...
Sure, okay.
The world froze.
The world froze for a moment as I made two revelations. First, Nick is just like my fucking father. I ran away from home and hopped right on top of a massive daddy issue. Sorry. Second, I have a prolific amount of experience dealing with this exact kind of toxic bullshit. You're not leaving the island without me, Nick said. I'll be fine. I laid my hand on his arm in the closest imitation of adoration-fueled confidence I could currently manage. I'll make sure everyone knows you'll slaughter them if they hurt me. Oh, shit. Don't say it. Fuck. He can only slaughter people on the island, dumbass shit. Fuck. Thankfully, Nick grabbed onto my ego stroking rather than my faulty logic. Being a specter does give one a taste for vengeance. He grazed his finger down my cheek, leaving a trail of radiating bliss that shoved all thoughts of daddy issues aside. You keep an eye on the girl, I said. See if you can find some brilliant way to wake her up long enough to at least answer some questions. I'll go to Jersey and see if the Conclave cares enough to keep a fellow hekatean alive. It's not about caring, Dante said. It's about what can and can't be done. I kept my attention fixed on Nick. Just promise you won't let anyone take her. I pressed my chest against his as I leaned in to whisper in his ear. Be ready for Reliquary to show up. He put his hand on the back of my waist, pulling me closer. What? Nick's bulge pressed against me, even in its dormant state serving as an excellent reminder that I was in no fucking way suffering when I whispered, I owe you.
That sounds so gross when you say it like that.
You are making me read this. I'm going to read it the way I'm going to read it.
We really can never record in the morning.
I brushed my lips against his. So much. What have you gotten yourself into? I have to stop for a second. Megan is literally gripping her face in horror. What have you gotten yourself into? The teasing in his tone, like he was enjoying the shit show I'd created, would have been annoying if his words hadn't melted that sexy kind of warmth down my body, banishing every trace of concrete panic and sparking awareness in all kinds of yummy places, because the low rumble beneath the teasing tone promised Nick was already thinking through damn it, I ruined it because I was trying to be too funny. Sorry. The teasing in his tone, like he was enjoying the shit show I'd created, would have been annoying if his words hadn't melted wafted that sexy kind of warmth down my body, banishing every trace of concrete panic and sparking awareness in all kinds of yummy places, because the low rumble beneath the teasing tone promised Nick was already thinking through how exactly I could begin repaying him. I eased away from him, turning my hearing to the screaming of the caged humans, a nice, sharp reminder that fucking Nick on the table would be a bad, bad idea. I have an apartment, he has a lair, no need for exhibitionism while feet are being blowtorched.
Can't record in the morning.
No, that would have gotten me anyway. What a great line. No need for exhibitionism while feet are being blowtorched. It also reminds me of a certain D&D campaign, Megan Elizabeth.
There was no blowtorch, it was a fire.
I know it was a fire. Megan, as a lawful good character, decided to hold a goblin's feet over a fire to torture information.
Part of our party.
You are lawful good. Okay. My stupid brain drifted toward what these particular humans had done to deserve such nasty deaths. Had they seen too much? Had they fucked around with the supernatural and this was their fatal find out phase? I slammed a mental wall down, locking away my hekatean who spent 17 years in human school morality, trying not to let myself linger on the third option as I said goodbye to Nick and followed Dante through a carved metal door and onto a dizzyingly long spiral staircase that only led up. But I still can't let it go. Option 3, those humans had just been convenient grabs when whoever the hell owns this place sent their minions up into the overcrowded city for fresh meat like a fucking grocery run. Looking at an Erabite's moral logic through an hekatean lens doesn't work, especially not a cursed Erabite. I worked with Erabites at Styx and live in an Erabite-heavy city. I understand we can only coexist if we stop focusing on judging how Erabites live and acknowledge that our differences must be accepted because we are two completely different kinds of beings, creatures, whatever the hell we are, we're different. Different morality, different diets, different. But I was so fucking glad to be out of the 13th door. With each twist of the filthy yet carefully rune-painted steps, another layer of soul grit, the ick that settles over your being with heavy layers of complacency, wisdom, and self-preservation when you know minding your own fucking business is the right thing to do, but you also know it's really fucking shitty, melted away. Dante spent the climb cleaning the blood from the back of his head and face with some kind of enchanted handkerchief that had his cheek wound looking a few days old by the time we reached street level, went through 4 hidden doors, and finally arrived in a human-centric, sexy punk flapper speakeasy. We cut right through the crowd and onto the street quick enough I managed to smash down the "will any of these people be on tomorrow's downstairs brunch menu?" panic. I need to make a call before we leave the city. I followed Dante toward a parking garage on the corner because of course he could afford a car in the city. 2 calls, actually. Why? He didn't slow or turn to look at me. I'm getting in a car with a strange man to go to a secondary location across state lines. The throbbing in my ribs says you can take care of yourself. Glad you figured that out. I'm still making the calls. I called Creepy Jay first, catching him before Nick arrived, which was great since it took me 10 minutes to convince Jay having Nick around wasn't the dumbest motherfucking fuck of a plan he'd heard in the last 24 motherfucking hours. You were my second call, but traffic has taken forever, never going to Jersey again, and Dante has a hot spot in his car. It's a really, really nice car, so he let me borrow the laptop he'd left sitting out on the passenger seat like he doesn't care if all his shit gets stolen. If flouncing into a hekatean coven is as bad an idea as it's starting to feel, I wanted you to know how exactly I'd managed to fuck things up so royally so quickly, and I couldn't make myself say all this while sitting next to Dante, who's been humming to himself for an hour, by the way. If you don't hear from me again, sorry I got myself killed. Oops. Please make up some glorious story about how I died that doesn't involve me being a naive-ass werewolf who vanished while trying to save a potential murderer who's probably just going to fucking die anyway. At least make the Erabite be innocent and tell everybody she lived. I promise to get in touch as soon as I can. I also promise to let you lecture me for being an idiot for as long as your heart desires. We're here, I guess. Dark, creepy, heavy air of, oh shit, this is bad. Yep, Dante's parking. Well, wish me luck. Love, L. Oh my goodness, Bob.
Bob says, and that concludes this seasonette. This novelette season
of Laurie's story.
And other words for fun.
Yeah, Laurie's story. I'm not letting it go.
It ends with wish me luck.
Real quick, I wanted to touch on something that I didn't have a note down for just before I leave it. I love that this is such a reflection of conversations we have where Megan will text me like, I don't know what's happening right now to my body. I'm probably dying. If I go, will you please tell our friends that it was something a little bit more heroic than it was?
Well, I don't want to be like, I died of my 12th stomach ache this week because I just kept ignoring it because it's the 12th one, but all of a sudden organs ruptured. Like, I don't want to go out from that shit. Like have me rescuing a puppy from an alligator, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or like knocking a kid out of traffic, or I don't know, something cool.
Yeah, sure. No, I understand.
Or at least like, I don't know, give me an aneurysm in my sleep. Something where people can't be like, well, why did the dumbass not go to the hospital? And then you have to explain, well, like lupus sucks. And
well, as I say, actually, to be completely honest, that would be a good lesson for people. No, don't make my death
a teaching moment.
No, it'd be a great teaching moment, though.
No.
But then you would have gone out for a purpose. I saved a puppy. We made Titanic into a teaching moment. If those 1,500 people can die in order to teach us, then you can do the same.
Yeah, like a long time later.
Yeah. No, it was actually not long at all. Now, that said, they kept not paying attention to lessons. Did you know I just learned that Britannic, one of the reasons it sank so fast is because against wartime laws, they kept their watertight doors open for ventilation. Yeah, so that just allowed the water to just go whoop and flow on through. That's why it sank as fast as it did. Crazy. Yeah. Anyway, that's one of the reasons. There were also like the shallowness of the water and stuff, but I don't understand the science behind that. Anyway, okay, it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't talk about Titanic. Okay, so how are you feeling now, having made this kind of side quest? Like, are you stoked and and so ready to jump back into Ella's story? Are you sad to be leaving Laurie behind in such a precarious state? Like, obviously we know that she survives because she hasn't had Ella yet.
Well, that's why I don't feel like...
And she's with Ella for 17 years of her life, so like...
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing, is normally I would feel bad being like, okay, see you guys in a couple months. I'm leaving a character like potentially walking into their death.
Right.
But she doesn't die.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so like, yes, we know some serious shit could happen, but in this moment, the only character that we're really attached to
is Laurie.
Laurie.
Oh, no, I'm kind of attached to Creepy J.
Creepy J is cool too, but like if Creepy J died, you wouldn't be like, my heart, I can't. Like, I don't feel like I'm ruining anyone by leaving someone in this danger that they're not going to be able to deal with. Like, we know Laurie is alive for a good long while after this.
Right.
And whatever happens to these other people is not going to destroy your soul.
No.
So I feel like it's okay to wait to pick up more of this story.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like, how was not that you like needed one, or I don't know, I'm not an author, but like, how was this break from Lauraldale? Like, do you know, like, yes, this is in the Lauraldale universe, but it's not happening in Lauraldale. So how was taking this step outside into, not incredibly familiar territory? I don't think you've been to a hell lair, but, well, New York City, it's kind of synonymous. Yeah. But yeah, so like...
Well, in parts. I love New York City.
I do. I love it less now. Like, I do still love it, but I love it less. It's as changed.
I get older, well, it has changed.
And I don't blame it. Like, a lot of stuff changed after 2020, but it changed a lot. And I hate it.
Well, also sensory overload is so real for me now.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But so how was stepping away from Lauraldale? Do you miss it? Are you ready to go back?
I'm ready to go back. Wait, are we going to talk about the next episode yet? Or we're going to do that later?
No, we can talk about the next episode. This is a great tie-in. Yeah, go ahead.
So I've kind of already started stepping back into it just a tiny bit. I actually started yesterday because I had this episode ready. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to do, and one of the hardest things for me is figuring out what moment to step into a book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, like, I know what the first real narrative beat is, like what the first thing that has to happen is. Yeah. So, for instance, in Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer, the first thing that has to happen is Mr. Carver. That's step one.
Right.
So it's like, what's the intro to get you into this world and have Mr. Carver make sense?
Oh, okay. Okay. So you know the first like actionable item and then it's leading into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like what beat? Like, would it be better to have had her start at Kate's that morning? Or would it have been better to have her start like in her car or shaking hands with him? And then we see it go back. Like, what would...
That's so interesting that you say that because, like, I'm thinking through all of these possibilities and I can't see a better answer than her being in the school with that anxiety already pressing down on her. Like, it's just such a great way to draw us in and keep us, like in your hands, like sculpting us as you're going through. Like, I don't know. I think you started the perfect place.
I started at the perfect place that I could find. I'm sure there's always something better. And it sucks as an author because you're like, but I could. But I spent a lot of time on it. And that was the best moment that I could come up with that would get her to Carver quickly, give you enough to give you a feel of the story and set up what it's going to be and start putting my little pieces in place. So that I don't have like Carver go down and then I have to like slow everything down before I can keep going.
Right.
Because that's the other thing is you don't want to start with like a big bang and then just bleh.
Right. No, I can see
that. So that's figuring it out. I think it was the best place to start. I feel bad saying I don't want to say it's perfect because that makes me anxious, but I'm proud of it.
I understand what you mean, but like I just right now trying to think through it, I can't see a better place for that to start either.
It felt like the one that made most sense for her.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing right now, sorry, backtracking. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out where I want to start book 2. Not the first incident.
Yeah.
But like what moment do I bring people back into Ella's world? And I'm having a hard time deciding. So what I did yesterday was I wrote 500 words of a potential beginning.
Okay.
And then I think what I want to do is write 2 more sets of 500 words of potential beginnings.
Okay.
Because it is very interesting to me figuring out what that moment is.
Yeah.
Like starting Ember and Stone with the crack of the whip. Starting like figuring out those beats.
Best opening to a book ever. Oh my God. Honestly, I would... That is my favorite of your first chapters. I don't know. It would be between that and Heart of Smoke as my favorite book openings. Because Heart of Smoke is a great book opening too.
Well, that one I worked really hard on too. Like a good book opening is so hard.
It's so good.
And I'm only going to end up...
It's horrible. Like you get to the end of chapter 1 and you're like, oh my God. It's bad.
Well, I'm only going to end up fully polishing one of the 500 word sections.
Sure.
The one that I choose.
Yeah.
But I thought it could be fun. And I would love the listener feedback on this. So let me know on social media or if you are on the Substack, come join us on Substack. It's really fun. And you can leave comments. So let me know. Do you think this would be fun? My idea is that I will next week have Chris read the 2 500 word openings that didn't get picked. So you can have those 2 500 words to see like what openings weren't chosen. And then when we go on to our official season 2 opening the week after.
We need t-shirts. It's official.
Then the 500 word section that did get chosen will be read that can just go into the chapter.
Yeah.
So basically it'll be like, you know how Clue, there's like the 3 endings. It's just there's going to be 3 beginnings and next week you'll get the first 2 that didn't get picked.
I like it.
Because there are like 3 different points where I'm like, what is the best way?
Can I take a guess at one of them?
Sure.
Is one of them like picking up immediately as she's like in the back of one of the cop cars?
Hell no.
Okay. This is why I don't write.
No. Do you know we have been in her first 2 weeks of school?
Oh my gosh. You're right.
We are skipping forward a few days.
Oh, you're fast forwarding. Okay. All right. I like it.
Well, right, I mean, it's just questioning and hospital beepies.
Oh, I see.
And like
stuff that we need to see. I understand.
Yeah, like it's all. It would take a couple weeks worth of podcasts to get through something that we can bust through. That could be
an email.
It could be an email.
Yeah,
so we are getting farther in, closer to that initial instigating incident.
Yep.
not an instigating incident, but the first incident of this book.
Yes.
So that we can get there faster. So no, we're going to go forward in time because police investigations are slow.
You sure? Towns. Yeah. That makes sense. And sometimes just end with them not caring.
Yeah. So it's one of those, like, there's nothing that is so pivotal that we can't see it a few days later.
Yeah. From
a different point of view. So we're gonna time jump a bit.
So is there anything you're willing to share with us about, because you were talking about being excited to getting to certain points in Laurie's story before we jump back to Ella. Is there anything you're willing to share with us about, like, things we saw in this that we might see over in Laureldale? Like in or at least in book 2? So, because you had said you were excited to get to a specific point in Laurie's story before getting back over to Laureldale. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you're willing to share that you're excited to, like, do in her story? Or no? Is this going to be stuff that kind of unfolds? All right, that's totally fine.
No, I'm not telling you yet.
That's fine. Keep your secrets. Oh, okay. So,
sorry.
No, it's okay. I commented on this. A solo Telshine reading a book and nursing what looked like a martini with olives. Looked like? What the fuck was it? Were they eyeballs?
It could potentially be. Probably more like fish eyeballs for a Telshine.
Okay.
But like,
what are Telshines again?
They're traditionally aquatic and almost mechanic. So they're metal workers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they are Etherians, but they're going to be Etherians that are really good in tech and also ocean-oriented.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so that's why in my head it's like fish eyeballs.
Okay.
So yeah, they're the ones who are going to be like the super whizzes with tech, the metal workers, the metal smiths, that kind of thing.
That's neat. Do we get to see? I don't know why this is where my brain went. Just humor me. Like any like steampunky type tech. I don't know why my brain immediately went there.
I mean, there's not a current plan to have a Telshine featured.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't figure. It's like that seems kind of but still, it's interesting.
Well, it's interesting, and I want to continue expanding the world of Laureldale.
Yeah,
I don't want to suddenly get to a point and be like, "Hey, there's a Telshine," and people be like, "The fuck?"
Yeah, right.
So like, I want all of these things to exist in the world, and yes, Telshines may only ever show up at bars.
Oh, okay.
We may only ever see one, at the crossing.
Okay.
But it would make perfect sense for a Telshine to be at the crossing. Okay. So they can just exist in the world.
Okay. Completely. This is not an important question, but it was very funny. How had I gone from humans on sidewalks to humans in cages and my hair still hadn't dried? And I was like, fantastic question. Megan responded, do you know how long it takes long hair to dry? And I'm like, no, thanks for reminding me, babe.
Oh, yeah. You don't have very much hair.
I don't have very much hair.
Well, here's the thing. If she has, because keep in mind, she was good girl till like a month ago. And so she hasn't done like some massive hair chop. So if we're talking 2006, she probably has pretty long hair. Mm-hmm. She's a werewolf. So we can figure she probably has a pretty thick head of hair.
Yeah.
That can take 3 hours if you're not blow drying it. Like when my hair used to be long, if I didn't blow dry it, it would be like 3 hours before it was actually all the way dry.
Good grief.
Yeah, you just live with your hair wet.
Nope. I don't like that. Wait. Sorry. The last thing I was going to ask is, or I was going to bring this up. We talked about, there was a song. What was it? There was a song that you were like, oh, I would love to use it, but it came out in the fall of 2006.
No, it came out in like December.
Oh man, do you remember what it was?
No, I don't. That's okay. But it was like just too late.
But this is how intense she gets. I was like, we can't be a little anachronistic, and she's like, no. I was like, all right.
Well, because once I allow like a little anachronistic, because it wasn't necessary. If it was like,
no, I get you.
Okay, I can't make this whole thing work if I don't fudge the timeline by 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I might fudge it for that, but for a song...
Yeah, it's not important. I get you.
Yeah. I like the quote that I found for this one.
I like the quote that you found for this one, too. But so my actual point is Dante has a hotspot in his car. I went, what? Those existed 19 years ago? Like, I know that cell phones existed. I get that. But hotspots, I was like, really?
Well, Blackberries were already around.
Yeah, oh yeah. But like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, because I remember it being this huge thing of like Obama wouldn't give up his BlackBerry for anything. And like security was like, sir, we need to put you on a different. He's like, no.
No, it's mine. It's my BlackBerry.
I was like, I love that so much. He's like, no, I'm not giving up my device now.
How do I read
Absolutely not.
emails?
No,
What is this laptop thing? No, just put it on the BlackBerry. But yeah, it does. Hotspots did exist.
So
they were
crazy.
just really, really expensive.
Yeah. Well, I remember the days of having to have a Wi-Fi antenna that I plugged into my computer in order to get Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Oh man, we're old. Okay.
Well, I had to figure this hotspot thing out early because since it is all in email format and this is where I wanted her to end, I was like, wait, fuck. They can't stop at a coffee shop for her to type all this.
Right.
So when I was figuring out how to make the email format work, that was one of the things that I needed to know. Is it technically possible for her to have done this?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, sure. Wow.
And that's why she sent it in 2 parts. So it's like, make sure you read my second fucking email.
Right.
Because she's sending the second half of the story.
So she's doing all of that in the car. So she wrote the last email in this car as well. Holy crap. Wow. Okay.
It's a long car ride.
Yeah, sure.
And that would be like a superhuman typing speed.
But she's superhuman.
Yeah, so that's how I justified that bit. Because, that traffic can be like a fucking nightmare.
Yes, it can. Or were they going over... I'm assuming Lincoln Tunnel. Depending on where they were.
I don't.
They wouldn't have gone up to the GW, would they?
Don't ask me about traffic. I will get everything wrong.
No, that's okay. But even like getting out to the GW is going to take time. The GW is generally speaking less traffic. If someone
gets in an accident on the bridge, there's 3 hours of your life gone.
Yeah.
So like it's totally justifiable if she had superhuman typing speed.
Yeah, let this be a lesson to you. If you haven't been to New York, if you can, take the path. Like, just don't even try to park in there. Driving in Manhattan is a bit of a nightmare. That said, I prefer it sometimes to driving in Orlando. I really do. Like, driving in Orlando is a nightmare. And we were talking about this the other day, that I-4 is the deadliest highway in the country.
Yeah, and neither of us knew that, but having driven on I-4 so regularly,
it makes total sense.
Okay.
Enough about your traffic update.
Do we want to save this for next time?
Save the...
Yeah, we can just save that for next time.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Are you sure?
Yeah,
We've got time if you want to talk.
No, it's good. It's good.
All right. So yeah, this is our last episode before we go to our next convention, which is Space Coast Book Lovers. I'm very stoked about that. I can't wait. I only get to be there for 2 days of it, but I'm excited to even get to be there for 2 days of it. And I don't think I have anything else to add. Do you have anything else for them?
I do have something else to add.
Please go ahead.
Oh,
wait, hold on. Eye doctor, review Chewy. Sorry, that's a list of things for us to do on our own time.
We really can't record in the morning. No, I just learned something new, and this is for my author peeps out there.
Oh.
So, Findaway Voices it got bought by Spotify, and now it's kind of splitting away from Spotify. And with the new split away from Spotify, you're going to be able to have an author dash that goes with your audiobooks, kind of like you have like that KDP dash where it's like not anything super fancy.
Is this with Spotify or with Findaway?
Well, but it's not Findaway anymore.
Right,
it's getting like a new
name,
but it's like what Findaway would be.
So you're meaning that branch off, not with Spotify?
Yes.
Okay.
You get to have an author dash.
Okay.
And it's like KDP kind of where really you can put up like a picture, a bio. It's not like super fancy, but it's always worth doing. Anywhere you can associate your face with your work is great. So you can put that up so that when your audiobooks are up, you have this pretty picture of you there. And I was trying to get in touch with Spotify.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out if I could link this podcast to my audiobooks.
Right, yes.
So they would show up under my author profile together on Spotify. Mm-hmm. And the answer is no.
Oh.
That is not currently possible because Spotify dash and that dash are two different dashes.
Interesting.
But they're like, ooh, that's interesting feedback. And I'm like, really? Well, I guess not a super amount of authors have a podcast and audiobooks.
No.
So I guess it makes sense that they hadn't really thought through that.
Sure, yeah.
Because it is two separate uploading systems. It's not like podcast and like other creator
Well, right, because
stuff.
podcast is technically an RSS feed, and audiobooks, they have the files directly. So, yeah, it makes sense.
So, but what I did find out, and we haven't figured out how to do this yet because of our RSS feed, but we're
also about to be switching podcast platforms, so hang on for that ride. You can
recommend your audiobooks through your podcast page on Substack.
On Spotify. Okay.
So on Spotify, if you have a page for your podcast or something like that, you can recommend your own audiobooks to get them linked kind of generally and viewable on your podcast page.
Okay.
Now, that is not something I've been able to do yet because, as Chris said, we are going to be switching to a different podcast platform. That's not going to, like, my people who are on Substack, you're going to stay on Substack. Nothing is going to change for you. You are still going to be right there. It's just going to be a slightly different feed that's really not going to affect any of you at all. It's all going to be the same. But there's going to be some changes on the back end for us. And all of that is just really because we're going to be working on getting some better analytics for the podcast put together.
Yes.
And along the analytics line, the most important thing for analytics for us, we are learning, is the subscribe button. So if you can, take a moment to hit that subscribe button on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. That would be so appreciated because those subscribes help boost us in the podcast platform algorithms. It's the same with those likes, those ratings, those comments, any kind of interaction that you can give the podcast to help more people find us would be great because we would love to help grow the Page by Page podcast that we can do more exciting things with the world of Laurel-Dale, and we can continue to make this for you.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the week. So like I really look forward to this, and I am so happy that so many people seem to be enjoying it. But yeah, if you could just help us out, that'd be awesome because we're hoping to turn this into a even more of a thing than it's already become.
Yeah, like I wasn't when this all started. I haven't even okay.
What?
Can I have a minute?
Yeah, have a minute. Wow.
Okay, so I haven't even posted the frickin' pre-order on platforms for Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer yet.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm not doing that until after all the Kickstarter stuff goes out. Which the Kickstarter fulfillment stuff is...
It's going well. We're just waiting on the
taking a little bit more longer,
which is fine. We're giving our artists time that they need.
Yeah,
it's like, please take your time.
It's going to be great. And everything's going really well. It's just slightly delayed because we're waiting for some beautiful art, but that's great.
These are more involved than the sketches we've been sharing so far, like significantly. So
these are like real art pieces.
Those are real art pieces, but these are just
but they're like more big. Like little doodads. This is like a chonk.
Yeah.
Those are technical art terms.
A chonk.
But I'm not posting the pre-order on platforms until everyone's gotten all their Kickstarter stuff.
Right.
And then that's going to be a 90-day pre-order from there. Okay. So we haven't actually gotten to the part of promoting the book that I'm supposed to do yet.
Yeah, sure.
Like, we're still waiting. I haven't even gotten that far yet. Yeah. And that's amazing to me because I wanted the podcast to help me connect more with my readers and build more of a reader community, to help prove that both of us are human.
Yes.
To help bring people into the world of Laurel-Dale. Yeah. So I had a lot of goals for the podcast that were very podcast oriented. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was going to be as much of a thing. Like, I did not think that Laurel-Dale was going to become kind of this world with people who love it and are invested in it at this level until the book was out.
Yeah, sure.
I did not expect this much level of Ella love. And it makes me so happy that people love Laurel-Dale, they love Sketchbook, they love Ella, that people are happy with the podcast. But sometimes I forget that my job as like business author brain for this particular book started yet.
No, that's true.
Like, I haven't even hit that part.
Yeah.
I was emailing a platform about the books. I'm trying to figure out some things for when I do set up pre-orders. And I was like, oh shit. I don't have an ISBN number to refer to.
Oh yeah, true. You don't.
They're like this fucker still does not have an ISBN number.
No, it doesn't.
because it's not out for the public yet like that.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like, to
that's
me,
crazy. Yeah.
this book is already so far out in the world because it's so connected to people.
Yeah. Well, because we started the podcast almost a year ago. Like, we're getting close. We're closing in on a year. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And the book is not out for pre-order yet.
No, it is not. So those of you who did pre-order, again, thank you so much.
We're stoked. Who did back on Kickstarter.
Oh, yes. Sorry. My apologies. You're right. But thank you to our Kickstarter backers and to those of you who support the podcast. We truly, truly are very grateful to all of you.
And thank you, Kickstarter backers, for your patience while we wait for our beautiful art.
Yes. It is going to be worth it. It is awesome. And as always, thank you for reading.